I program Canadian feature films. I've been working at the festival since 2004. I originally was programming Canadian short films, and about 3 years ago I moved over to programming Canadian feature films. Looking at shorts versus looking at features are actually two very different worlds. One, in terms of volume, I think this year they got about 700 short films to take a look at for consideration. In terms of Canadian features, we get around 200. Short films are an art form in and of themselves, and sometimes it's difficult to compare them to feature films. So you kind of have to really take two completely different perspectives when you're looking at shorts versus looking at feature films. Something really interesting about this year's Canadian lineup is that we have quite a few films that see Canadian directors going outside of our borders to different parts of the world to tell their stories. So for example, we have Inshallah, which is set in the West Bank. We have a debut feature called Kravina, which is set in Bosnia. Deepa Mehta's Midnight's Children is set in India. There's another wonderful film called Rebel, which is set in Africa and looks at the story of a child soldier. And there are several others as well in our lineup. I think that for many reasons it's a very natural trend for Canadian filmmakers, and it's resulting in some amazing films. We've seen it before with films like Incendie, Deepa Mehta's Water, and there have been many others, but this year it seems like there's quite a few more than we normally see. So one of the films I was really excited about discovering this year is Jason Buxton's Blackbird, which is going to be having its world premiere at the festival. Jason has been at the festival before with his short films, and this is his incredibly impressive feature debut. He's an East Coast filmmaker. He's based out of Nova Scotia. Blackbird is a powerful drama about a teenager, Sean Randall, who is falsely accused of planning a school massacre. It's very perceptive, it's timely, it touches on issues of cyberbullying, and it also looks at the impact of living in a time of heightened anxiety over school violence. The film also features one of TIFF's rising stars, Connor Jessup. He delivers an amazing performance. It's very naturalistic. He's been in a few films before. He actually was a producer of one of our films at the festival last year called Amy George. He's definitely a rising star and someone to keep your eye on. One of the hidden gems in this year's Canadian lineup is a really smart and funny documentary called Lunacy by director Simon Ennis. It focuses on a group of individuals who are completely obsessed with the moon, or specifically lunar colonization, so actually moving to the moon and living there. One of the subjects who's interviewed is Dennis Hope. He found a loophole in the United Nations Outer Space Treaty and has declared himself owner of the moon. And he's been selling plots of lunar land since the 80s, and he's made millions of dollars doing so. Another individual in the documentary who really becomes the heart of this film is a rather eccentric young man named Christopher Carson, and he's determined to be the first human to live on the moon. And the documentary follows him around in his efforts as he tries to reach his goal. Lunacy is enlightening and hilarious, and it's a film I would highly recommend.